Kamala Harris just proposed an economic plan straight out of the Soviet Union playbook: price controls. While the Biden administration is blaming capitalism for inflation, even the Washington Post isn't buying it anymore. We're breaking down the insanity of Harris's plan and why it could lead to an economic disaster. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're getting into Kamala Harris's latest brainwave, a communist-style economic proposal that she thinks will solve inflation: price controls. Yeah, you heard that right. Harris is actually suggesting that controlling prices, Soviet style, is the answer to the rampant inflation caused by, you guessed it, reckless government spending under the Biden-Harris regime. Now, before you roll your eyes and scroll away, listen up, because what Harris is proposing isn't just bad policy. It's downright dangerous. Even the left-leaning Washington Post columnist Catherine Rampol had to admit, quote, "It's hard to exaggerate how bad this policy is," end quote. And when your own side starts calling your ideas communist, you might want to reconsider your life choices. But Harris isn't backing down. She's determined to fix the very problems her administration caused. On Saturday morning, Elon Musk chimed in, sarcastically confirming that the disaster predicted by Robert Sterling is pretty spot on. Musk said in his tweet, "Accurate conclusion. Read the whole post." That's not a ringing endorsement. All right, guys, listen up, because this guy got it right. CFO and investor Robert Sterling, he got it right based on the history of price controls with allowances made for the U.S. economy. You ready? He starts off saying, the government announces that grocery retailers aren't allowed to raise prices. Isn't that great? Well, not really. Grocery stores, which operate on 1% to 2% net margins, which is very close, can't survive if their suppliers raise their prices. So the government announces that food producers like Kraft, Heinz, ConAgra, Tyson, Hormel, etc., they aren't allowed to raise their prices. Not all grocery stores are created equal. Stores in lower income areas make less money than those in higher income areas, as the former disproportionately sell lower margin prepackaged foods center of the store instead of higher margin fresh products like meat, the perimeter of the store, because stores in lower income areas aren't able to cover overhead. Remember, even if their wholesale costs are fixed, their labor, utilities, insurance, and other operating expenses aren't fixed yet anyway. Grocery chains start to shut them down. Food deserts in rural areas and in low-income urban areas alike become worse. Meanwhile, margins for food producers are also quickly eroding. Their primary costs, ingredients, energy, labor, they aren't fixed, and their shrinking gross profits leave less cash flow available to cover overhead, maintain facilities, reinvest in additional production capacity. Grocery chains, which have finite shelf space, there's only so much space you have in a store, right? They start to repurpose their stores, those they didn't have to shut down, I would say, to sell more non-price controlled items. Everything from nutrition supplements to kitchenware to apparel, and less price-controlled food products. Your local Kroger or Safeway starts to look and feel a lot more like Walmart. This is what will happen if Kamala Harris gets elected. Food producers stop making products with lower margins. Grocery stores start competing with each other to secure inventory. Since they can't compete by offering stronger prices, remember, producers aren't allowed to raise prices here. And even if they could, grocery chains no longer have the gross profit to bear price increases. They compete on things like payment terms. Small grocery chains start to shut down entirely and get sold to larger chains like Kroger. In addition to not being able to cover fixed costs, a major reason for this is because they can no longer reliably secure delivery of products due to producers prioritizing sales to larger customers, which are able to leverage their stronger balance sheets to offer superior payment terms. Smaller food producers, which typically sell via distributors rather than directly to grocery chains, start to go out of business because their producers have an additional step their value chains, and because they have lower volumes over which to spread their fixed costs, their cost structure is inherently disadvantaged compared to major food producers. When grocery stores aren't able to raise prices, cutting product costs becomes all the more important, and deprioritizing purchases from smaller producers is an easy way to do so. So the consumer gets crap thanks to Kamala Harris's schemes. As supply chains break down, lines start to form outside grocery stores every morning. Cities assign police officers to patrol store parking lots, and food producers draft contingency plans to assign armed escorts to delivery trucks. Venezuela, anyone? The federal government announces a program to issue block grants for states to purchase and operate shuttered grocery stores. The USDA also seizes closed down production facilities. The government announces that prices for all key food costs, corn, wheat, cattle, energy, etc., are also now fixed to stop profiteers from gouging, or as Kamala says, gauging, the now government-operated food industry. So in the end, the federal government will nationalize the entire food industry, and you lose. Shockingly, the government struggles to operate one of the most complex industries on the planet. The entire food supply chain starts imploding. So before you know it, America's on the brink of communism and mass starvation thanks to Kamala Harris's price controls. Brilliant plan. More Americans are waking up to the nightmare that this radical left agenda is dragging us into. And make no mistake, this isn't about saving America. It's about taking it down. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with more ridiculous policies from our government. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.
Too many secrets, too many closed doors. We're sick of cover-ups. We're sick of the cover-ups. Want the truth and nothing more. Who fails, spend it's dead. The jig is up. No more drinking the Kool-Aid.